Next up is the government segment here on Impact. I'm your host for that one, Nick Barber, and I'll be interviewing Lieutenant Mark McCraken. Lieutenant McCraken is the Public Information Officer and the platoon leader for the Schenectady Police Department. Lieutenant McCraken will be talking about holiday thefts, car larcenies, and a lot of tips that you can utilize to protect yourself and your property during the holidays. Hi everybody and welcome to Impact. I'm Nick Barber, your host for the government segment. Today our show is the government segment. We have Lieutenant Mark McCraken as our guest, and Lieutenant McCraken is with the Schenectady Police Department. Welcome.
Good to see you again, sir.
How are you? Good.
Morning. Thank you.
And we do see you again because I saw you recently speak at the Schenectady Kiwanis Club too.
Yes.
So one of your titles, I know your primary title with the Schenectady Police Department is you're a platoon commander, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and what is that? What does a platoon commander do?
I oversee the day tour. I'm a second line supervisor for the day shift.
Right.
I'm in charge of 4 sergeants and 21 sworn personnel,
Yep.
as well as 2 civilian employees.
Wow, it's a lot of responsibility.
Yes, sir.
How many platoons are there in the city?
There's 3 of them.
3? You have another title, which is sort of an auxiliary or secondary title, and what is that?
One of the public information officers for the department.
Okay, great. And that's probably what we're going to talk about today for the most part.
That's why I'm here.
And that's why you're here, yep. And this is a great opportunity and forum, Impact, to speak to the public and give them information about their government and about things that they can do to protect themselves and enhance the quality of their lives. As the public information officer, what type of things do you do?
I handle all press releases for the department, both written and oral, on-camera interviews,
Okay.
radio, issue press releases to the papers. Anytime the media's got a question about a case or an arrest that was made, I provide them with the details. And it gives me also the opportunity to speak at events and things like this.
Neighborhood associations,
Sometimes,
civic
yeah.
organizations, that's great. Do you go into schools too?
I have.
Yeah, that's good. That's
Spoken
good
a couple
thing.
career days. Actually
Good.
had the opportunity to sit down and read with some of the first and second graders
That's great.
within the city.
That is
that's
such a
fun.
good time, isn't it?
It allows them
yeah.
to see us in a different light than it perhaps
Absolutely.
normally would in a different opportunity and situation.
Well, we want to see police officers as protectors.
Absolutely.
I don't like the word servants. You know, we protect and serve, but you do. It's public service.
Right.
But I think it's important for young kids, especially, to look up to the police officer as a friend, a protector, and someone that they can look to in the event of any problems. You're also a veteran, aren't you?
I am.
Well, veteran of the police department by now. How many years you have with the police department?
Just under 11.
11. Well, that's pretty much a veteran service.
I'm getting there.
But you're a military veteran too.
I am.
And what branch of the service
I
were you?
was in the U.S. Army, active duty for about 8 years. Got out in 2000, moved up to New York, and I was in the National Guard up until this August, just retired.
Oh, just recently.
Yep.
Oh, great. Well, thank you for your service. You
My
know, we
pleasure.
just passed Veterans Day recently, and we appreciate your service. As public information officer, what kind of things can you tell the public here on Impact about safety or preserving their valuables or crime? What words of advice do you have for them?
One of the things I was hoping to talk about today was car larcenies.
Okay.
That's the theft of property from a car, not the actual stealing of a vehicle.
Yeah.
They are down 25% citywide
Mm-hmm.
this year compared to last year. So the department is really happy about that. However, with the holiday season coming up, the shows and Proctors picking up, people going out and buying a
Yeah.
case and stuff like that, we are afraid that there's going to be a slight increase. So we're going to get on the air and talk about some of these things, and hopefully we'll be able to keep our numbers down and protect people's valuables.
Well, that's good. Well, especially the holidays, I guess, it's a busy time, and the economy too.
Yes, sir.
When the economy's down, there's more crime, more drug-related thefts and things, I suppose.
Traditionally, crime is up. However, citywide, our Part 1 crimes, which are the most serious crimes, your robberies, your murders, your rapes, and everything like that, that's down 5.5% compared to last year.
Well, good. Going that way is better than going
They're
that way.
definitely headed in the right direction.
The word down, even if it's 1%, is a good thing, and we hope that trend continues. I had a neighbor that had all her Christmas gifts wrapped up in her car, for her grandchildren, ready to go, and she was up till late hours of the morning and was going to leave early, so she left the vehicle in her driveway, parked in a private residence with all the Christmas presents in it, and was intending to leave early in the morning. around 6 in the morning. And between like 2 and 6 in the morning, guess what happened?
Yep.
Stole all the Christmas presents, broke in their car, and that was a terrible thing. You know,
Very unfortunate.
Not only was it a lot of money, but it's their grandchildren. It's a holiday. You know, you go through all this frustration and stress to get ready, and it's a pretty crushing disappointment. So I guess some of the tips are lock your car and don't leave things in view. And
certainly lock your car.
Yeah.
Even if you're just stepping away for a moment.
Yeah.
Make sure that your vehicle's secure and remove any temptation from somebody who'll be walking by, looking in your vehicle to see if there is anything to steal.
Yeah.
Don't leave your purse. Don't leave your
Yeah.
loose change sitting in your cup holder.
Yeah.
Don't leave your laptop in the back seat or any other valuable items.
Right.
Remove anything that someone might want to steal. GPS units are a popular item.
Is that one of the hottest ones? What are the most typical things that are stolen? GPS?
GPS, purses, laptops, and
Yeah.
change.
Yeah. You know, people don't think about change. You figure, well, it's throughway change. I keep it in the middle, you know, no big deal. But these criminals, or thieves, if you would, they'll even steal change because most of these things are drug related, I suppose, and they want money, right?
Some of it is drug related. Some of it's just juvenile.
It's just
going
juvenile
out and,
delinquents too.
you know,
Yeah.
If you run out and you hit a car and you get $2 or $3 and you hit 10 cars, you made $20, $30.
Buy a pack of cigarettes or whatever they do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a shame, but these preventative things work.
They do.
If people listen, so
They do.
I'm glad you're here to tell them. You said crime is, or the car thefts, personal property is down 25% from last year.
Yes, sir.
What do you attribute that to?
A lot of intelligence-based policing.
Good.
The department's made a shift in that direction. Officers are provided weekly with updates where crime's happening, when it's happening, and we're able to deploy additional manpower and resources to those areas.
Good.
In an attempt to drop it. We've also had officers that are out actually passing out pamphlets and stuff like that in some of the harder hit areas.
I've seen
as
that.
as a reminder for people, this is what a thief sees when he looks in your car.
Yes.
And to be a little bit more mindful.
Yeah, and I know the police department goes to the neighborhood associations. We had a couple officers on the north side in Schenectady, Goose Hill Neighborhood Association, and those flyers and leaflets are effective.
They are.
Because people are just mindless, they're busy. We all have busy lives. We're all stressed out at the holidays, and we forget these things, and that's when it happens.
Well, not only that, if you go out shopping and maybe you bought the missus a little something special and you want to hide it from her and you don't want her to see it and you leave it in the back seat of the car and then
Right.
the next thing you know, you come out and your bag's
Right.
gone.
I suppose if you're going to leave something in the car, it's a good idea to lock it in the trunk.
Absolutely.
That might be a good
Absolutely.
idea. A lot of these things happen in the daytime, right, in plain daylight, right? Because I've had this happen to my my own daughter and my niece, 1:30 in the afternoon. Crash, your glass break, and by the time you get there, if somebody does hear it, you see a kid on a bike,
He's halfway down the
heading
block.
down 60 miles an hour. You try to, and you can't catch them. They get away. It's unfortunate.
It's not something that happens specifically at night. It can occur any time during the day. As you stated, it's something that people need to exercise due diligence about all the time.
Yeah, that's true. So you have regular public information visits, school district. Did you say there's more than one?
There's three of
PIO?
us.
There's three of you. So your typical communication with the public is public appearances, speaking, going to schools. Is that basically how you outreach to the community?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. What else can you tell me? How about cell phones? People are leaving their cell phones in their cars too. I suppose that's
Cell
a
phones are-
popular item with, especially today, a cell phone can cost $500.
Absolutely.
These smartphones. I mean, they like those.
They do.
Yeah,
They do. And,
Yeah.
it's nothing to steal when iPods are another thing.
yeah,
Anytime you're out in public, whether you're exiting your vehicle or if you're walking down the street, you want to safeguard your property. You don't want to have, display it. We had a couple incidents around high school where cell phones were being robbed. People were being robbed for their cell phones.
Well, we read that recently. Well, you do those press reports, don't you?
Yes, sir.
So a lot of times you report on the crimes to the newspapers or whatever.
Yes, sir.
But just recently I read, well, we see your name in the paper, and, on many occasions doing just that. But these young guys today, they'll accost somebody and hijack their cell phone. I mean, they'll intimidate them, they'll beat them up or whatever, right? Do you see a lot of that?
Several $100 phone. Someone's walking down the street, they see it, they don't have one. They may use that as an opportunity to take one.
Yeah.
Also today, especially with the younger generation, all you do is see them walking around like this, texting
Yeah.
into their
Oh,
phone,
yeah. Their
not
head's
paying
buried.
attention to what's going on around
Yeah.
them. That makes you a very easy target.
Anything that's an easy, there used to be gold chains. If you wore all this bling bling and if it was real gold, you know, especially down in metropolitan New York, they just come in and rip it off. They don't care if it breaks. Rip it right off your neck and run.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm dating myself, but I remember when the 8-ball jackets were pretty popular.
Right, I was going to talk about that too. Yeah, the jackets, the shoes,
yep.
Right? Must be the shoes, right?
Jordans, right?
The Jordans, man. You know, so they'll take anything that they feel is minimal risk to them, and they're pretty brazen.
They are.
Pretty brazen, yeah. So those are all good tips. Anything else you want to tell the public as the holidays come up? We got through Halloween. How was Halloween? Why don't you tell us about that?
Halloween
was it a good experience in the city, or did we have any problems, or how'd it go?
Nothing major. There was a couple minor incidents, and but for the most part, the city got through it unscathed.
Yeah. Boy, I had hordes of kids come to my house. I live over near Union College, and Union College did a good thing. They had the trick-or-treating, the fraternal organizations, the sororities and fraternities. They put up signs and publicized it and invited the neighborhood kids to come in, and they went. I mean, there were a lot of people at Union College.
I probably had about 150 kids come to my door.
Did you? Yeah. I went through.
A few of them even recognized me.
Yeah.
They're like, "You're the guy." Yeah, I'm the guy on TV.
Yeah. Well, that's another point, though. I think we talked about this before in one of your other presentations about when people come to your door for any purpose, Halloween, do your lawn or whatever, and they're strangers. You don't know who they are, and you got to be careful about them casing your place and maybe coming back. So, you got any tips? For the public on something like that?
If a person's going to commit a burglary, particularly during the day, most people are at work, the house is unoccupied, they'll knock on a door, and if you respond, they'll give you an excuse, oh, I'm looking for my animal, or, I thought this was Johnny's house, or whatever else, and, trust your instincts. If you're sitting there and you're talking to a person and this just doesn't seem right, and they were surprised that you answered the door, and you're not getting a good feeling off of that, that's your subconscious telling you that something's wrong. Don't ignore that. Verify who's through the door, standing on the other side of the door before you even open it.
Yes.
And be a good witness.
And don't let them in the house.
Certainly don't let them in the house. Certainly don't let them in the house. And if they walk off your porch because they realize that you're home and they're not going to be able to break in your home. But something's telling you that this wasn't right. Listen to that and be a good witness. Give us their sex, their race, clothing descriptor, their height, their weight, and direction of travel, and how they left. Did they leave on a bicycle? Did they walk away? Did they jump somebody's car? And which direction you were able to see them moving in last. And that'll give the responding officers the best opportunity to find the individuals, detain them, and find out what their purpose was in the neighborhood. Yeah, well, that's all good advice. I had that happen to me once in my neighborhood, and a guy came to the door and he said, somebody else answered the door for me, and I went to the door. And the guy said, oh, my car broke down, and I need a tire iron. I have a flat tire, and do you have a tire iron? I looked at him straight. I said, well, where's your car? I looked outside. There's no car. He said, oh, it's about 2 blocks down that way. I said, well, what are you doing up here? He said, well, I was just working my way up the street, because I haven't been able to get any help. And, I just thought, I'd keep going house to house until I could get somebody to help me. And I looked back down, and where he described his car was, there's a gas station. So why didn't he stop at the gas station if he had a flat tire? That would
I said, well, let's go look at your car. So I went to get my coat. I come outside. The guy was gone. He was gone. He disappeared. So after he disappeared, I did get in the car, and I drove down a couple blocks and looked. I didn't see any car with a flat tire. I didn't see any car unjacked. I didn't see any car with the hood up. I went to the gas station. I said, described the guy. I said, did you have a fellow come in here and say he had a flat tire, needed a tire? Nope. So obviously, he was up to no good.
Definitely up to no good.
And, even myself, that, is a pretty trusting person, but you still have to be aware,
Absolutely.
And have to be on your guard. So, we've been visiting with Lieutenant Mark McCraken. He's the platoon commander and public information officer for the Schenectady Police Department. He's giving us a lot of tips. The holidays are coming up, and you've given us some good tips on the holidays on personal property break, car larcenies, you call them, and we appreciate that. We've only got a minute or so left. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the public before we part ways today?
When you're out, especially now the holidays and stuff like that, don't carry a lot of cash with you.
Oh, yeah.
It's tempting.
Yeah.
If you're going out, you're buying a lot of presents, maybe you set a budget and okay, I got X amount of dollars to spend, and you have that money with you.
Yeah.
You know, don't have it in your purse. If
Yeah.
you're carrying your purse, make sure it's slung across your body and it's not dangling off your shoulder or left in the cart. You know,
Yeah.
have it on your body. Have positive control over it. Don't flash a lot of cash. Don't flash your credit cards. Only bring those credit cards with you that you're going to need. You know, if you are going to become a victim of a crime, it's better to lost $100 in one credit card as opposed to $3,000 in
Yeah.
6 credit cards.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How about ATM thefts? You see many of those in the city?
Not a lot.
Not too many?
They do occur.
Yeah,
But
well, especially
not a lot.
downstate, that's big.
Pay
Yeah.
attention to who's standing. That applies no matter where you are or what you're doing.
Yeah,
Be aware of your surroundings.
Yeah.
Pay attention to who's coming up alongside of you. You know, if you're going to an ATM, particularly if it's, you know, tucked on the side of the building and maybe there's some shrubbery or, you know, landscaping and stuff like that. As you're pulling up, look around you. Look left, look right. What's next to you? Is there somebody loitering?
Yeah.
If they are, that's not a good sign. Drive away and go somewhere safer.
absolutely. All good advice. Well, we want to thank you, Lieutenant
pleasure.
McCraken, for coming. It's always good to see you.
Good to see you,
Hope
too.
you come back again, you know, from time to time to give the public some good tips and
Absolutely.
help them enjoy their holidays without having any tragic events, you know, and upsets. We've been visiting with Lieutenant Mark McCraken. I'm Nick Barber, your host for Impact. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Proctors, bringing the best in arts, education, and entertainment.